Okay, so this is me recording my voice over top of watching a time-lapse video of me inking this project. This is a project I'm working on at school for my modeling class, where we had to come up with some kind of a scene using some words that were drawn out of a hat, basically. And what this video is really about, though, is really just showing what I call the inking process, which is a process where I finalize my pencils. And really, if we were talking about a comic book or something, this would be the part right before you would go to color. So what you're seeing here is me going over my pencil marks, which is probably a second or third iteration of what I would have done in pencil, where I would have erased it down, found my forms out, added a little bit of shadows where I wanted them to be. But what I'm going through now is I've got this hard ink brush with very hard edges. There's going to be it's not going to gray out at any portion at all. And it's really, if I was doing this on paper, it would be like going at it with a Sharpie. Is pretty much it. Now, I've kind of sped this up a lot, and you're seeing a lot of like it zips in and out kind of stuff, and that's really me overcoming at working with off of my laptop, because I can't really see that well. But unfortunately, we can't all afford Cintiqs, so here we are. Now, when you go through and you ink something, a lot of it is just tracing over what you drew before. I try to add shadows when I go through in this stage. I've been getting in the bad habit of just tracing my stuff and not adding shadows to it, so I end up trying to add shadows later on a separate layer, and that hasn't really worked out for me either, in my opinion. So I've been trying to get a little bit more bold and designating my shadows in my pencil drawings, which seems to be a little bit better. And there, my HP is trying to tell me to update so it can crash my computer again. That happened twice to me already. Every time I update my computer, it just wants to kill everything forever. It sucks. I don't know why that's a feature. But yeah. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to even talk through these whole things. That's part of the reason I sped this up to as fast as it's going. So I'm trying to figure out a feel for how long these videos should be. Here I am going over the boots. I was trying to figure out a color for what these characters be, because what this character is we put Fire Queen out of the hat, and I had to figure out what the hell a Fire Queen is. So I consulted my superhero guide and looked at some pictures on the internet and found some poses and looked at a pose I liked and sort of stole that and turned it into what it is turning into right now. As you see, I'm adding some color to this right here because I wanted her dress and her hair to be fire itself. And I really wish I could have done this in like a digital painting, but I'm trying to go with like comic book style, so this is me playing around with how I wanted to do that. I didn't think I'd be able to pull it off with just black and whites, so I started adding color. And here's me getting real crazy with color here. Now, color is not my strong suit. I don't play around with color that much. I much prefer, if I can make it work in black and white, I like to do it that way. Just because honestly I think art that comes out in black and white is a little bit harder to pull off, and I think it shows that you really know what you're doing, because if you can do something in a hard black shadow and make it look like light's hitting it from multiple directions, it's really a shine of, it shows that you really know what you're talking about as far as forms and shadows in 3 dimensions, even though you're on a 2D plane. And it just shows that you can do it. So I try to force myself to work that way as much as I can. But this being a school project, I'm kind of skipping some stuff. Now, right here, I just I did this in 2 sections. I think they're about 1.5 hour sits, both of them. So this is me starting up again, and I decided I wanted to go back and add some more hard lines and see what it would look like just as a black layer, just so I could finish it up and have that black layer by itself. But honestly, I think it looks a little too BDSM if it's all black and white like that. And the reason I went with black with her clothes was I was trying to stick with the fire element, and whatever was going to be down inside was going to be, well, what do you call it? Like a charcoal, like the logs on the fire type deal. And I wanted her clothes to be really bright and have her as herself be emanating light in herself. So that was kind of the idea with this. And like I said, with me cheating, and I'm just going to start adding color in the cheapest and easiest way that I know how to do. Start adding shadows just by lowering or raising the color values. You can do this in layers. Sometimes I do, but I try to not do that because it makes the workspace really cluttered. And when you go back, and it slows down your computer too if you work in too many layers. And not to mention it just gets confusing. Now here's me noticing that, you know, a shade up from what a skin color would be white, so I'm kind of using that to my advantage to show like a really bright portion of her skin. And you'll see here in a little bit that I go back and I really don't like the way that arm turned out, so I toned down a lot of that white from what it is now. Right there. Yeah, I just didn't care for all that much brightness right there, so I turned that down considerably. What else did I talk about here? Yeah, it's just adding hard lines and defining the form. So right here I'm playing around with the eyes. It's a digital painting trick that I would like to be able to do on my computer, but I just really can't handle it that much with this software. If I try to do this in Photoshop, there's a considerable delay from when I push a stroke and when it actually shows up on the screen, so I'm forced to use this software, which is really good. I really like this software a lot for everything, except for the only thing I can't do with it is digital painting really well. Right, that flash there, my battery almost died. And I think this is just wrapping up right here, but I don't know. Talk to me a little more, see if you like it. Maybe I could slow the videos down and talk a little more. You let me know.